This episode is brought to you by thedolphinwars.com.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Radio King Dolphin TV, episode 407. I am Raymond. I am the author of the Dolphin Wars trilogy of books and brewer of the greatest pod on YouTube. Welcome to everybody tonight. As I said, we will be doing the next installment of Radio King Dolphin TV, and I have two of the not ready for pod time players. We have the amazing anti-derivative Jill. How are you doing, Jill?
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you. And we have the amazing Max Redstone. How are you, sir?
I am being held here against my will and will not get my freedom, or so I'm told, unless I give an excellent performance. So I am planning on giving an excellent performance, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. Before we get started, I'd like to ask that if you like Radio King Dolphin TV, if you love Just Cuz, if you love the interviews, if you love King Dolphin television on the whole, please like, subscribe, and engage in the chat. We want to keep this algorithm, keep the algorithm down. So, and also, if you are so inclined, please follow what FKHC put on the pin stream. Radio King Dolphin TV is brought to you by the collection agency of Snody and Trike, who reminds you to pay in super chats, super stickers, or here. And there is the tip line. So please. And it's not working. And FKHC has put a super sticker out there. Thank you very much, sir. A smiley face with money in the eyes. Thank you very much, FKHC. I appreciate it.
Money.
Money. Yes. Let's see. And we will get started. My welcomes to there we go. There's the tip line. Please find it in your heart to put some ducats in the bucket. All right, so we will. There's the super sticker.
And hit the like button, or Mr. Raymond will ever be so cruel to us.
Yes, please hit the like button, or Trike will sit on you. Pay or suffer or both. Okay, so let me welcome everybody and then we can get started. Oh, and there are two. Snody will eat your heart. There are two people that I want to please put some good thoughts out there. Wendy Trauma Warrior, they had just lost their dog. Ramsey, he passed away a couple of days ago. So please put a WTW out there. And also, as I said, Agent Pepsi 1 is really, really sick. So she couldn't make it tonight. So please put an AP1 out there too. So, all right. Let's welcome people who are here. We have right now the latest iteration of Matt G, Sabrina's Espresso. Welcome, Sabrina's Espresso. I hope you are doing well. And then we have our lifeguard corps. We have our producer Sandra. We have the dog Trike. We had Agent Pepsi 1, but she had to tap out because she said she's going back to bed. We had we've got FKHC 2005. We've got Legatus Legioni. And we've got Snora Pupas Cuba. So, welcome one, welcome all, and without further ado, we will begin the reading. This is Part 4, Bridges, from All's Fair, a Dolphin Wars novel, written by yours truly. All right.
Chapter 37. Lieutenant Commander Jan T. Ando maneuvered the Devil Ray to Bifrost 1, the Earth entranceway of the jump bridge. He said to Banjo, his weapon systems officer,
Banjo, please back me up in case I can't make it through the bridge. I always seem to get disoriented when I pass through it.
"You always quiet," Banjo said. "Wilco, Steel Eye." Jan got on the radio.
Bifrost Control, this is Steel Flight. We have a flight of 2 requesting permission to enter the bridge.
Steel Flight, this is Bifrost Control. Please send authentication code.
Rude. Max, we can't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, you faded there.
Yeah? Okay, sorry. Jan entered the data link that sent the code to the bridge control that would confirm the request. Jan waited nervously. He only went through the bridge between Earth and Jupiter once, but that time was more than enough for him. That time he spent in the transition process was agony. He equated it to having an ice pick in the eye that they were using a vice on his head. Right after they entered Earth space, he visited the flight surgeon, who could find nothing wrong.
Authentication received and confirmed. Stand by for opening.
Jan suddenly heard in his mind,
Tarab, I am calling.
"Urkira, I hear you."
Our other brother is there. Can we reach him yet?
"I don't think he can respond yet. We did a very good job hiding what he is from him. He knows not what this is about."
Do you see? There is another.
"Yes, we must contact the other first."
We have the word. We must think.
Sync. Jan closed his eyes as his mind was blinded by whatever it was that was speaking to him. He saw Jupiter in the large aperture. He recovered quickly and piloted the craft into the aperture. During the minute that it took his craft to enter the bridge, all he could see was white. The craft emerged from the bridge into a congested part of space. There were spacecraft of many sizes and configurations in the sector. 3 damaged ships entered the bridge to return to Earth. Bridge control came on.
Steel Flight, this is Bifrost Control. We confirm your arrival. You are to proceed directly to Io.
Jan said heavily, almost out of breath.
Steel Flight copies directly to Io.
Jan did a check of his crew and the wingman, and they headed to the Jovian moon. Jan flew by the Europa shipyards. He saw Halsey being worked on. He sighed as he saw the multiple hull breaches and missing push drive and the missing push drive nacelle. She was the last carrier that he was on before he went to Earth. To see her beaten so badly was disheartening. He said to Banjo,
Man, it hurts to see that.
"I can imagine. We're taking a pasting here."
Yes, we are. I don't know if 4 Devil Rays will be enough to turn the tide.
"They have to be. These are all we have." because of necessity, because the necessity of getting these craft to the front lines, Jan only came with an electronic warfare officer and weapon systems officer in his Devil Ray craft. He was told that he would get Gemini as his battle management officer soon, but was not given a specific timetable for her arrival. Jan wanted to stay home and raise his little girl and take over the family business, but he knew he had to do his part and help end the war for Lorena and the others who died. At the Jade Bungalow in the Windsong Estate, the woman got out of bed and opened the drapes, letting the warm and bright sun enter the room. She looked at Tina Ando stirring in her bed. She sat on the side of the bed and kissed her forehead.
Wake up, sleepyhead.
Tina moaned and said,
Let me sleep some more, Captain Lorena.
Tina closed her eyes and thought about the previous 24 hours, the car that reached the house, and a woman walked out of the car, and all of them stared at her in shock, but Tina was floored and almost in tears, and all she could say,
Oh my God!
The woman was Lorena Ando. She was in lieutenant commander rank, wearing naval flight officer wings over her ship driver badge. She said,
Hello, Grandpa, Mr. Ivan. It's good to see you again. Greetings, yeoman. Captain Ando, you can't be here. You can't. You ordered me off the bridge. I saw the ship ram the enemy and blow up. Well, I am here, yeoman. And who is this pretty little thing?
She reached to touch Katrina, but the baby flinched, and Tina could hear in her mind,
Bad lady, Mommy. Bad lady, Mommy.
When the baby bawled loudly, Lorena said,
She has good lungs. What's her name? She's Katrina Hugh. She's Jan's and my daughter, and she's a lot quieter than this. I see. Well then, we have a lot of catching up to do.
Tina and Min take the kitten, their nickname for Katrina, for the evening. Tina prepared dinner with Lorena. As she dressed in a white sundress, she worried about the baby's fidgeting and repeating,
Bad lady.
In the short time that she knew Lorena, she knew she was kind, fair, and a tough as nails commander. She was not the type to put fear in anyone. She smiled as she recalled the happy times aboard the U.S. Grant. At that time, she came to the conclusion that she would go through hell with Lorena. She looked at her scarred arm with her good eye, and said to herself,
I did go through hell for her.
Lorena said nothing during dinner. The night progressed with neither of them saying anything. At the end, she took Tina by the hand and led her into the bedroom. Tina reached the nightstand and took her eye patch from the stand. As she put it on, you know, Jan and I have been the only one. Jan, you and Jan have been the only ones to see me without my eye patch. Oh, sorry. Lorena ran her fingers along the scar on her right arm and said,
Did we lose Jill?
Oh,
Jill,
Yeoman Robbins, how does it feel to take my husband from me?
that's also you, Jill.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, sorry.
Wait a minute, Captain. We both thought you were dead. Hell, you ordered me off the ship. I would have stayed with you to the end. I wanted to die with you.
Lorena acted as if she heard nothing and raked her fingernails over the scar on her arm, which caused Tina to yelp. She took the eye patch and tossed it across the room.
You, my dear, are a gold-digging trollop, and my dear husband is a lecherous fool to think he could have one such as you in his family. This is a family of warriors. They were not meant to be killed by a street rat like you. Well, yeoman, I hope you enjoyed yourself because I intend to make the two of you pay.
She licked the blood that she drew from the arm and spit it on Tina's face. She grabbed her clothes and walked out of the room. All Tina could do was fall on the floor and cry. Chapter 38.
Jan saw the large facility on Io. The runway was longer than anything he saw before. There were many small hatchways along the taxiway where fighters were being lowered underground. Jan called to the tower. Io Tower.
Oh,
Oh, it was
IO
silent.
Tower, this is Steel Flight. We're 6 miles north of the field.
Steel flight, straight in approach approved. Report 3 mile final for runway 09.
The tower replied. Jan turned to intercept the runway heading. As he was doing that, he reflected on what was happening when he was in the bridge.
Who or what were they? Were they talking about me? All I know is it felt like my head was being rubbed by sandpaper.
He saw that he was at the 3 mile point and said,
Steel Flight, 3 miles.
Steel flight, you are clear for break and landing.
The two large manta ray shaped jets overflew the runway in echelon formation. When Jan was abeam the numbers, he made the hard left turn to downward, followed by the other jet. He then made the turn into base and final, making a flawless landing within 50 feet of the numbers. He turned off onto the taxiway to the nearest lifting pad, which lowered them down to the pressurized portion of the runway. The craft was lowered, and Jan could see a massive flight line area with hundreds of jets. The end of the runway crew entered the weapons bay and put the safety pins on the weapons and cleared the Devil Ray to the transient ramp. Jan saw the landing platform being installed, and the plane captain marshaled him to it. He effortlessly put the plane on the platform and lowered it. He checked to make sure that the two stations behind him shut down. Once they reported that they had, he shut down the engines. He emerged from his cockpit as EWO and WSO emerged from their seats. He walked into the operations and saw the air boss, Lieutenant Commander Richard Darling. Jan shook his hand and said,
I'm Lieutenant Commander Jan Andrews. This is Lieutenant Commander Stephen Edwards, our Wizzo, and Lieutenant Commander Juanita Torres, the EWO.
Rick Darling, Commander. You know, that is the weirdest plane I ever saw.
Well, we hope that flying tank will do its part to end this thing. We have enough crew to fly one of them right now, and hopefully the other BMO will be coming soon. We hope to flesh out one squadron by the end of next month.
When do you think you can fly again?
We can fly tomorrow if you want. We just have to get into crew rest.
That's good. I was ordered to help get you to Thunder Base. We can get the Essex to take you there.
No need, sir. We have push drive. All I need is to get our BMO here. She's supposed to be here in a day or so.
Well, you guys have quarters already set up. I'll let you know when your crewmate gets here. Darling handed Jan a pad. By the way, congratulations, Commander.
He smiled evilly as Jan looked at the pad.
Secrets. United Earth Government, Security Council, Department of Space Defense, from Commander Operations to Commander VAQ 294. Subject. Promotion and stand-up of Electronic Combat Squadron 294. Electronic Combat Squadron 294 is activated as of 30 November 2162. The table of organization equipment consists of 6 EC-909A Devil Ray aircraft, 1 squadron commander, 1 executive officer, 8 aircraft commanders, not including CO and XO, 8 weapon systems officers, 8 electronic warfare officers, 8 space battle management officers, 4 maintenance officers, 50 and maintenance and support personnel. Total strength 6 aircraft, 40 officers, and 50 enlisted. Item 2. VAQ 294 will be assigned to Flight Division 31, Asteroid 7, as of date 1. Item 3. Detachment A, VAQ 294, consisting of 2 EC 909, will proceed immediately to Thunder Base upon reaching full crew complement. Item 4. Detachment B, VAQ 294, consisting of 2 EC 909, will proceed to Thunder Base upon test and evaluation and reaching full crew complement. Item 5. Detachment C, VAQ 294, consisting of 2 EC 909, will proceed to Thunder Base upon test and evaluation and reaching full crew complement. Item 6. Support personnel will accompany Detachment B, VAQ 294. 7. Lieutenant Commander Jan Ando is promoted to captain as of 30 November 2164. Item 8. Commander Jan Ando will assume command of VAQ 294 and will proceed with direct Detachment A to Dagger Base immediately. Item 9. XO will be Lieutenant Commander Robin Shipley. Signed, David Maxwell, Admiral, Space Defense Force, Force Commander. Secret.
Jan's mouth opened up, and all he said was,
Wow.
as his crewmates and Darling clapped his shoulders. Jan sent Lieutenant Commander Robin, Boat Shipley aircraft commander for Devil Ray 102, to meet the transport carrying the new BMO. He had a sign that said VAQ 294. When the transport landed and the passengers debarked, one of them approached him. It was an attractive brunette woman in a white dress. She saluted and said, Lieutenant Commander Ando, Lorena T., reporting as ordered. He returned the salute and said,
A family affair, huh?
Excuse me?
Well, let's just say we have a relative of yours here.
He had his driver take her sea bag, and they went to the tram and drove to the squadron. Jan was taking care of the paperwork that needed to be done to put newly formed Electronic Combat Squadron 294 in existence. He also had to ensure that they were ready when they arrived at Thunder Base. The squadron, or what there was of it, was housed in a small building just outside of the flight line. He met his squadron commander, Master Chief, who set them up in their location. Jan was amused, but not surprised that the shack was fully furnished. In his time in the SDF, he found that Master Chiefs tend to pull off the impossible. The MC set him up in a small but comfortable office with the sign Jan T. Ando, Commander, already on the door. He was signing a request for supplies to be requisitioned at Thunder Base when the MC knocked on the door. Jan told him to enter. He handed Jan a bottle of water and said,
Sir, the XO's back with the nugget.
Jan found the MC's use of nugget interesting because every one of the officers except for Jan were lieutenant commanders with a lot of experience in flying and testing. But he knew from his experience with his parents that Master Chiefs were not easily impressed. Jan rose from his chair and said,
Thanks, Master Chief. Come with me so we can greet Gemini.
Jan had yet to see her face and thought that was a mystery. Jan didn't like mysteries.
Aye, aye, sir.
They walked out the door of the squadron and Jan stopped, open mouthed. He thought to himself,
Someone is playing a sick prank here.
to his credit, he kept his composure as she walked to him and said, Lieutenant Commander Ando, Lorena A., call sign Gemini, reporting as ordered.
Mister, You better have a good explanation for this.
Unfazed, she said, I'm Lieutenant Commander Ando. Jan turned to the XO and Master Chief said,
Empty the building right now.
They looked at each other and walked into the building and told the others to leave. After they vacated the building, Jan said,
Walk with me, Commander.
They walked into the building into a small office. Lorena looked around, and her face had a smug, superior look. She said sarcastically, Well, darling Jan, you don't even have a hug for your returning wife? I'm disappointed. Red-faced Jan put his hand out and said evenly,
Don't you say one word. You will address me as Commander. I don't know who you think you are, but my wife died in battle 6 months ago.
Jan,
I said, shut your lying mouth. My wife told me that my late wife rammed her ship into the enemy.
she interrupted him by saying snidely, Oh, please, you mean that gold-digging trollop? And here I thought you had standards. She had a different reaction when she saw me. Want me to tell you all about it? She was fantastic. You know what they say. Once a whore, always a whore. He kept his temper in check, and he said in a soft, even voice,
What I am ordering you to do, Commander, is go to the flight surgeon for a physical.
My flight physical is on record, he said evenly.
I do not care. You will take a brand new physical.
He got on the communicator.
XO, I want the Master Chief and Lieutenant Commander Torres here right now.
They showed up, and Jan said,
Commander Torres, I want you and the Master Chief to take this officer to the flight surgeon. The flight surgeon will conduct a full, and I mean full, flight physical on her. If she refuses, you are ordered to take her to the bridge. Understood? They nodded. After her physical, she will be taken to the BOQ and placed under guard until I send for her.
They looked at each other, and both said, Aye, aye, sir. Lorena said, Jan,
What do you say to your commanding off? What do you say when your commanding officer gives you an order?
Lorena looked at Jan straight in the eye and said, Aye, aye, sir, and marched away with Torres and the Master Chief. Later, Jan went to the flight surgeon who briefed him.
Commander, that has been an interesting physical. As you said, I did a full physical to include DNA scans. She's been through a lot. There are no scars on her face to justify her being in bandages in her training. On her body, are injuries and scars that are consistent with physical and sexual abuse.
I never abused my late wife in any way, shape, or form.
I know. When I saw these injuries, I decided to do some checking. I checked her medical records from the U.S. grant. The most recent physical from the U.S. grant confirmed that she was pregnant.
I know. My current wife told me she was.
He did not mention anything else.
Well, that was definitely inconsistent with the physical of this woman. This woman was never pregnant. Once I found that out, I did some further checking and found something startling. This woman is a clone.
I didn't think that was possible yet.
Evidently it is. The DNA is a nearly perfect match. She would be a perfect replacement for Commander Ando. The only mistake is they didn't account for her pregnancy. As far as I can conclude, she was genetically engineered to have no ovaries.
I see, Doctor. Thanks for your help. I know you don't have to hear this, but keep this to yourself until I sort this out.
Jan got into his tram car and headed to Flight Command Jupiter, the command responsible for flight operations in the sector. Jan asked to speak to the commander and was granted access, which was unusual for a lowly squadron commander to be granted an immediate audience. But Jan was a special case. He was the son of Rear Admiral Tran and Ando, commander of the 31st Flight Division at Dagger Base, and a personal friend of the commander. The second reason was that Project Chicken Hawk was of great interest to Force Command. He walked into the office of Vice Admiral Teresa Robinson, who was assigned to this position based on how she handled the situation on Mars. Jan took the position of attention and barked.
Ma'am, Commander Ando, Jan T. reporting.
She smiled and said, Jan, it's good to see you again. I see the SDF did an intelligent thing and made you a commander and gave you a squadron.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm not sure that I deserve it.
I remember how painfully modest you are. Listen, Jan, whatever else SDF may do, they don't just hand out squadrons to anyone. You deserve that rank and that squadron. Enjoy it. I read about your work with the Devil Ray. I wish I had a chance for a flight, but we need those ships on the line yesterday.
Yes, ma'am. We can get the job done. But the reason why I'm here is I have a personnel issue. As you know, because Chicken Hawk is classified, I am ordered not to contact Earth at this time. I was hoping you could intercede for me.
Robinson looked thoughtful and said, Talk to me, Jan.
I need a personnel transfer. I feel that one of my crew may have the potential to compromise this project and cost lives.
She then looked serious and said, Who is it, Commander? Jan handed the physical to her. She looked at it, and her face became red with anger. Commander, you sure about this? What made you order the physical?
Ma'am, this is impossible. There is no way my late wife Lorena could have survived that battle. I also knew she was pregnant during the time of that engagement.
How? Jan knew he was on thin ice with Robinson, but he decided to lay it on the line. He said,
First off, my new wife served as a yeoman. She was one of the last people to see her. And second, can we keep this between ourselves?
Her face got red again in anger, and she said, I'm insulted that you even have to ask that, Commander. Go on with it.
I have a sort of sixth sense about things. I guess you could call it telepathy or clairvoyance. I know you won't believe it because I sometimes don't quite believe it myself. She was pregnant with my daughter, and just before she rammed into the Martian ship, I heard my daughter say, I love you, Mommy and Dad.
He looked down at the floor. You know, Ando, if you were anyone else with that wild story, I would have had you thrown out of here and grounded pending a psych evaluation. Lucky for you, I have been friends with your family for a long time, and I remember your antics. I believe that you thought you heard your daughter, even at that far a distance. I also believe that for whatever reason, someone assigned a clone to project Chicken Hawk.
Ma'am, we can't have her in a devil ray.
Listen, mister, I will tell you what we can or cannot do. This is a direct order. You will have Lieutenant Commander Ando as your BMO, and you will take her to the Thunder Base. You will conduct combat operations with her. You will not say anything to anyone.
Ma'am,
Do you understand this order, Commander? Jan snapped to attention, and with his face showing no emotion, barked in a command voice.
aye, aye, ma'am. Am I dismissed, ma'am?
Dismiss, Commander. Jan turned and marched out. Jan was in his office as Lorena was led in. She reported, and Jan continued to look at papers for a full 2 minutes. He then looked at her and said,
This will not leave this room. I know what you are. Now, before you say anything, I've been ordered to take you on as a BMO. I don't want to know what connections you have, and I don't care. I'm concerned with the security of this project, and I want to ensure lives are not lost because of your actions. You will do your duty, and if I have word that you have not done your duty or compromised this project in any way, I promise you I will have you shot. Am I understood?
Perfectly, sir. Permission to say something?
Granted.
I have her memories. I don't know what you did to her to make her love you, but she should have killed you when she had the chance. It took him an effort to restrain himself, but he only hissed.
Get out of my office and get ready to leave at 0800 tomorrow.
Aye, aye, sir.
Chapter 39.
I'll take this one. Jan turned
Okay.
the Devil Ray to final as the 3-day flight to Thunder Base was just about ended. Jan and his Wizzo were alternating shifts during the long flight. He also grudgingly admitted that the clone was a highly competent yellow. It processed several contacts and vectored fighters to intercept them. Fighters were briefed to handle steel calls as gospel. During the flight, he tried to use his instinct on her to glean a bit of the future, but saw nothing. Her remarks made him uncomfortable. After they were married, Lorena swore him to secrecy and then told him about how she was trained by Koklu to kill him and his father, but somehow she could never do it. He felt betrayed, but also knew that she was being used for misguided revenge. He also knew he would never stop loving this woman. He knew his abilities somehow kept her from acting out the evil impulse and rehabilitated her. He put that out of his mind as he landed the craft and taxied the big plane over to the parking spot. As he shut down, he saw the 31st Flight Division XO, Rear Admiral, Lower Half, David McCaffrey, and the Chief of Staff, Captain Carney Hart. He was the last one to exit the plane and saw the two crews form up when they saw him. He took his spot and marched them to the two senior officers. When the formation reached them, he saluted and barked. Commander Ando, Jan T, reporting with Detachment A, VAQ 294 and 2 Devil Rays as ordered. McCaffrey returned the salute and said,
Here's the prodigal son. Welcome home, Commander.
He shook Jan's hand.
We have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Jan introduced the crews to them. They raised eyebrows when they saw Lorena, but said nothing. Connie shook his hand as well.
Welcome back, Jan. That's a pretty impressive bird you have there. Is it going to win the war for us?
We'll do our part, Keg. Where will we be setting up shop? She pointed at a Miles building off the taxiway.
Your Master Chief already confiscated that building there. He already decked it out, and it's ready for you to inhabit right now. He also has your berths ready.
He smiled and said, typical for a Master Chief. They saw him drive over with the transport for the crews and their gear. McCaffrey said,
Commander, dismiss your men and then walk to us with my car.
Jan sensed the change of tone and said, aye, aye, sir. Jan ordered the XO and Master Chief to take over the detail. As they headed to the transport, John saw that McCaffrey and Hart were in his car and walked over to him. He got in, and McCaffrey said,
Commander, we need to talk. The boss relayed to me some stern orders he received from Flightcom Jove. Frankly, we can't understand why. until now.
With respect, sir, I think we should wait until I brief you all together at a secure location.
Fortunately, the division commander agrees with you. We're going to his residence right now for lunch. Then you will stay there. As the Admiral said, this way we can keep each other out of trouble now that the Queen is gone.
Jan laughed and said, "That's just like him. Let me call the Master Chief to have my bag sent there." They arrived at Rear Admiral Tran Ando's residence just as he drove in. Jan was shocked to see the wear on his face. Jan knew from the reports that the war was hard on the division. As the main flight division in the belt, they were required to provide fighters to flesh out the carrier strike wings. He lost a lot of planes when Halsey was badly damaged. To his credit, it looked like he was handling it well. Jan embraced his dad, and Ando said, "Welcome home, Jack. I'm glad you're here. You'll have to excuse the cuisine. My cook's cuisine can't match your mom's cooking." They were let in just as two enlisted men, loaded down with scanners, were leaving. They nodded their heads to Ando as he led them into the dining room. There was a large buffet of hot food. Ando's rule when meeting at his place was always food first, fights second. Ando handed Jan a pad and said, "Here's mail from home. I can't wait to hear about your wife and child." After lunch, they were in Ando's den. Ando said, "Commander, for your edification, those two men are responsible for making sure my place is swept clean from listening devices. They do that in all my briefing rooms. I use my residence for meetings. I do not want a record." He pulled out a privacy spear and activated it. When he was satisfied, he nodded. Jan said, "We have a briefing on Chicken Hawk and the Devil Ray prepared to get to whoever's needed. We can also get whoever you want checked out on. We have seats for 4 extra crewmen. May I ask when you plan on tasking us?" McCaffrey said,
Let's say 2 days from now. It'll give you some time to settle in and get us briefed. I'll give you a list of personnel throughout the division I want checked out.
"Yes, sir. My XO can set up the trading schedule and let you know. Until we get the other 2 planes in, we'll use 1 as the training and spare, and 2 for combat operations."
Good. When can we expect your squadron to be at full strength?
"We should be receiving the craft in 2 weeks, crews in a month. They have 2 trainers at Edwards in addition to the 2 line craft. I'm hoping we can have a total of 6 craft when it's done. This is a rush program as it is, but there's only so much we can do, especially with the level of classification of this program." Hart said,
Refresh our memories, Commander.
"Yes, ma'am. The names, Project Chicken Hawk and Devil Ray, and the existence of VAQ 294SU. The mission of Chicken Hawk is top secret level 4. The full capabilities of the Devil Ray are top secret level 5. Ando interrupted and said, "I think now's a good time to explain yourself, Commander. I knew that VAQ 294 would be stationed here a month ago. Today, I received the following orders from Jovcom, who, as you know, has command authority for both Jupiter and the Belt. They say, in essence, that VAQ 294 will conduct combat operations with the crew assignments as directed by SDF, and that further discussion is forbidden. Now I hear we have a doppelganger of my deceased daughter-in-law on my base and flying a highly classified aircraft. I want to know what the hell is going on." Jan looked uncomfortable and said softly, "Is this an order, Admiral?" "You're damn right, Commander. I will talk to Admiral Robinson." Jan briefed a sigh of relief at not having to keep a secret from his father and said, "Aye, aye, sir. I was only asked I only asked because I was ordered by Flight Jovcom not to discuss it with anyone." Jan briefed them on the Lorena clone and Flightcom Jove's reaction to his concerns about security and how he was ordered to take her on despite the obvious concerns. He finished with, "I pretty much told her that if she did anything to compromise the project or cost lives, I would have her shot." Hart asked,
How much of a duplicate is she?
"She's nearly perfect, except for signs of physical abuse and the absence of a reproductive organs." Ando said, "Well, Commander, she's your problem, so deal with it. We'll back you up. I don't like that someone's playing games like this." "I know, sir. It took all my effort to keep from tearing her apart." "Okay, Commander, you know your orders. Admiral, prepare the key staff for a briefing at Division on Project Chickenhawk. Make it tomorrow. I think we can all agree that we need them in the fight. Do you need Commander Ando for anything else today?" They shook their heads and said, Jan said, "Sir, I need to make sure my people are squared away." They laughed, and Hart said,
See? He broke the squadron commander's code.
Ando smiled and said, "Dismissed. Commander Ando, please see me after you return." Jan spent most of the day checking that the squadron had their quarters set up. He gave a subtle hint to the XO and Master Chief to keep an eye on Gemini. When he finished up with this, he went to his dad's residence. Ando was in casual wear and handed Jan a drink. He said, "Jan, it's good to see you again. I was worried after Lorena died. You were becoming a problem." "Well, it's like Grandpa always said, it was time to go home." Dad was a smart one. He knew from experience after your grandmother's death and his accident. "Tell me about your wife and little girl. I was surprised about that, especially given her background." Jan showed him a picture and said, "She is beautiful, and that little one is adorable. What can I say, Dad? It was love at first sight. Grandpa, Ivan, and the triplets all love her. I really think you'll like her too. She has baggage like me. After all, we both lost the woman we love. Your granddaughter is fantastic. She's cute, funny, and quite the comedian. She is smart and very responsive to the stimuli around her. She runs the estate now. Katrina is the light of our lives." He decided not to tell him about her abilities, thinking that it should be a surprise to Mom and Dad. "Jan, I'm so glad you're happy. You deserve it. Thanks, Dad. Now, to get serious, I don't know what's going on with that clone. I know we have to follow orders, but I think antagonizing her would not be a good thing. My advice to you is to lighten up with her, treat her like a human being. I'm sure someone has an agenda, and by getting to know her more, it may cause her to let her guard down and maybe help us get to the bottom of this." "How friendly should I get with her, Dad?" "Well, don't sleep with her. I think your wife would have a problem with that. But don't treat her like a thing." "Okay, Dad. I'm ordered to have her on my crew, but maybe this will make it less onerous for us all." "Thanks, Dad." Jan went up to his room. After he changed into civilian clothes and unpacked, he took time to read the letter.
My dearest Jan, I know with the war and everything involved that things may get lost, but I hope that this letter gets to you anyhow. Katrina has been begging for me to write, so I am. I first want to say in advance that I'm so deeply sorry that I hurt you. The day that you left, we had a visitor. It was Captain Lorena. I was in shock. I mean, how the hell could she have survived? I asked her the question, but she ignored it. She then seduced me, and I knew it was wrong to cheat on you. But I could not help myself. This was the one person beside you that I wanted so much, and now I had her. The next day, she said hateful things about us. She told me that Lorena was originally trained to kill you or your father, and I don't really want to rehash it. The whole thing made me so ashamed and reminded me of my past. I can understand if you never want anything to do with me. The kitten is telling me that I need to trust you, and I do. You and Katrina are the world to me, while the baby is tugging on my pants because she wants to dictate her part of the mail. So I will talk to you later. I love you so much. Love always, Tina. Hi, Daddy. Please don't be mad at Mommy. The lady was bad. I was so scared of her, I hid in my room. I hope you don't get to see the bad lady. I've been a good girl and taken care of Mommy, who is so sad and crying all the time. I smile at her, and then she smiles, but she is so sad. We need to see you again, Daddy. Please come home soon, Daddy. Love you, Katrina.
Jan sighed and had a tear in his eye. The next day, Jan walked first to the enlisted barracks, accompanied by the Master Chief. After he saw that they were taken care of, he ordered the Master Chief to keep him advised of any enlisted issues. He then went over to the BOQ. He went to each of the officers to see that they were settled in and had no problems. He reached Lorena's door and knocked. She asked.
Who is it?
Jan answered, Commander Ando. She said coldly.
Please come in.
Jan walked in and saw her in a sports bra and panties. Seeing her like that brought back memories about how beautiful she was. She noted scars on her back, but said nothing and focused on Tina in their bed. I wanted to know how you were doing. It's my job as squadron commander.
Well, other than the goon at the door, I have no problems.
I ordered him to leave. I wanted to have a chat with you. First, I'd like to apologize for my actions. It was hard to see you there. It was like seeing a ghost. I know you can't help it. It's obviously someone's plan.
Commander, I know I'm Lorena Ando. I don't know where I came from. I have all these memories of us. I remember our wedding. I remember making love to you all those times.
Do you remember your time on the U.S. Grant?
No, my first waking moment was when I woke up in a barracks room, much like this one. A cloaked woman talked to me, and then two men took me away and assaulted me.
So in return, you used my wife and hurt her.
Jan, honey, please realize that for all I know, I am still married to you. I saw this young woman at Winsong Estate with a baby that I knew was yours. I wanted to strike out. When she talked to me, I knew that for whatever reason she had feelings for me, so I used that against her. I thought that if I fucked her, it would hurt her so bad, and when I told you, it would cause you to divorce her.
Well then, you don't know me all that well. There is too much of your story that just doesn't compute. I also know my wife and knew she would never do this willingly if she was not manipulated. I know her past and know what we currently have is special. Jan deduced that she knew nothing of his instinct, unlike Lorena, so he deliberately did not mention it, because he couldn't read her at this time and was still unaware of her agenda.
So, where does that leave us?
I'm going to accept that you're a pawn in whatever sick plot is going on. I'm also going to trust that you will not willingly try to compromise this operation.
I promise you that I don't know what I'm here for, and I won't compromise this operation.
I accept that, and I will treat you as a human being for as long as you are in my command. I would do this for anyone. I only ask that you don't cheapen Lorena's memory by keeping her name.
I can do that. I can use my middle name, Amy, and go back to Taylor.
Fine, Commander Taylor. Go back or go take care of the paperwork today so we can get to work. I want to end this war and go back to my family. Dismissed. Tina, I read your letter. I could never hate you. I know that you and the kitten are my life, and I love you both. Yes, I said it. It took some time, but I know I feel empty right now without you. This is not because you're the mother of my child. It took some time for me to get over Lorena, but your spirit and love finally won me over. I look forward to seeing you two again. I know you're taking care of each other. I had a talk with Lorena, and I know she's to be pitied, not hated. Hopefully, I can help her get over her demons and become a productive member of society. She has a lot of hatred and anger in her, thanks to whoever set her on this path. Keep praying for me to come home, my love. Kitten, be a good big girl and take care of Bonnie and love her. Give grandfather and the others my love. See you soon. Love, Jane. Chapter 40.
Chapter 40.
At the headquarters of Flight Division 1, Jan stood at the podium before the massed crews. There were the crews of the two Devon rays, Rear Admiral Ando, Rear Admiral McCarthy, Captain Hart, and key members of their staff. Jan said, "This is the pre-brief for Steel 1 flight. For security reasons, we don't use the name of the project or the craft as our call signs, and will either use all or part of the aircraft commander's individual call sign. Today's flight is called Steel. This will be a combat mission lasting 6 hours. Our mission is to set up a race track pattern 20,000 miles from the Mixture Carrier Strike Group and monitor the battle space. We will look for any enemy incursions into the belt and vector interceptors. We will be relieved by horse. Our crew will be myself, Gemini, Banjo, and Stalker. Captain Hart will be in the instructors. Because of the long duration of this mission, I will check her out on the first leg of the mission. Banjo, Gemini, and Stalker will spell each other. Each of the crew will brief you on their positions later. I will, however, give you an overview. The EC-909A Devil Ray multi-purpose craft is the ultimate warplane. We nicknamed it the main battle tank of space because of the full range of its capabilities. It's capable of air combat maneuvering, electronic warfare, ground and ship attack, and airborne early warning. The craft is highly maneuverable and contains the first internally mounted 4th generation push drive ever mounted in a combat space. You have the briefing materials in front of you. I will introduce the crew of Steel 1. They have the additional duty as the NATOPS standardization crew for the squadron. You introduce the crew and their duties. Brief the route of flight, communications protocol, and intercept procedures. He mentioned that each of the squadron's AC call signs was given to each of the flight commands to disseminate to the various carriers and flight crews. That way, when Steele sent a bandit call, the crews of a ship or interceptor would act on it without compromising security. He went over the configuration that the sortie would carry. Since this was an incursion and intelligence mission, they would only carry defensive missiles. After the hour-long briefing, the crew and Captain Hart went to the briefing room when Ando came to Jan and asked him, Care to take another passenger? I'd like to sit in the IBMO seat. Is that why, sir? Having Comdiv and the Chief of Staff on the same mission would make a tempting prize. Ando gave him a look of feigned surprise. Have you lost your touch, Speli? Jans gave him a sardonic smile and said, Never, sir. Welcome aboard. Jan and the crew, which now included Ando and Hart, arrived at the squadron and were briefed on the mission and any changes before being driven to the ground. It was dark on the flight line because in order to keep circadian rhythms, Thunder Base followed a 24 light-dark cycle. Jan and Hart took out their flashlights and walked around the massive craft looking for any anomalies. The electric combat tail was extended, which made the walk even longer. They conducted the walk-around and entered the craft to begin their internal pre-flight. They completed the checks and confirmed with each other. Hart started the engines, and at first she thought nothing was happening. Jan smiled and said, You can verify with the gauges. We have 4 good engine starts. We have 4 internally mounted 4th generation push drive engines. They are super quiet in atmosphere.
That's amazing.
Wait till you see the handling. Jan used the lifters to get the ship off the platform and taxi the craft to the end of runway. After the EOR crew finished their checks, Hart smoothly took off and the Devil Ray sped off into space. They reached their racetrack orbit well behind the Mitchell strike group. The EW tail was extended as they reached their cruise speed. Jan showed her some of the sensors and repeater scopes that enabled the AC to follow the other stations. Hart asked,
For a mission like this, isn't the WSO superfluous? I mean, after all, you only have defensive weapons.
No, because during a mission like this, the Wizzle's job is to assist the BMO monitor the battle space. He's also an aviator, so he can spell me. Banjo has one of his scopes as a repeater for Gemini. 2 eyes are always better than 1. Even though we normally would have an escort, even though I think that's a waste of resources with this ship's capabilities, it's his responsibility to make sure no one tries to blow us up. In an instant that an enemy tried to jump us, he would warn me and I would engage them. Gemini came on and said,
Alpha, this is Bravo. I see 18 bogies bearing 180 distance, 300,000 closure push, point 4. Their IFF is silent.
Banjo said,
Whiskey confirms.
Gemini sent a secure data link to the Mitchell, which stated the number of bandits and their bearing and range from them. The carrier acknowledged, and Jan pointed out to Hart that 8 fighters were scrambled. Here's where the fun begins. Gemini is sending a data link to a system in the intercept. We have a nasty surprise in store for you. Listen, Stalker got on and said,
Echo has the library ready to silence.
Gemini said, Echo? Oh, go ahead. No, sorry. Gemini
Echo
said,
cleared to silence.
Jan explained what that meant is our tail analyzed the enemy's communication and radar frequencies and prepared a jamming plan, which we call the library. She's now sending jamming pulses at the enemy fighters that will jam their targeting sensors and communications. The great thing about this is that the jamming pulses are disguised as background radiation, so the bad guys don't know what hits them. Hart could see the fighters going aimlessly in the general direction of the group. Within a few minutes, the fighters fired missiles at the helpless fighters. The battle was over instantly. As the enemy bogies disappeared off the screen, all Ando and Hart could say was,
Wow.
Ando said, they never knew what hit them. Jan smiled wickedly and said, nope, they didn't. Hart commented,
Almost seems unsporting to catch them like this.
one could say that about the Spears. I wish they or those stealth ships would have attacked. We have surprises for them. The rest of the mission was uneventful. Horse relieved them, and they started their return flight. After they landed, the Master Chief walked over to the plane as Jan emerged. He said,
Devil Rays 103 and 104 are on their way. Should be here tomorrow. We already have the remaining air crews and support personnel billeted. Also, we're getting a complement of hammerheads, finally.
great work, Master Chief. I'm going to debrief and then check out everybody. I would like to cover the Mitcher for the next 24 hours. Are there 2 crews that can fly?
Bravo 1 and 2 and Charlie 1 and 2 are ready.
Okay, get them over for debrief and we'll get them up to speed on their mission. Let's concentrate on getting 101 turned around.
Aye, sir.
It will be much better when we can get the rest of them here. I would like to do 12-hour shifts, but we can start tomorrow when we have 4 crews ready.
Good idea, Skipper. I'll make it happen.
Ando walked over to Jan, shook his hand, and said, great work, son. After seeing you guys handle that engagement, I think we can win this war after all. Jan gave him a hard, no-nonsense look and said, that's what we're here for. The Devil Rays conducted flight operations for a week. Jan was flying Steel 1 this time. Steel 1 was on a racetrack pattern in support of a cap around the Saijan carrier group, who were assigned to handle the area vacated by Halsey. The group's mission was to provide defense of the entrance to the Northwest Passage. Because of the range of the Devil Ray sensors, it was decided that they could augment the group. The ship was in orbit for about 3 hours when the EWO, Juanita Stalker Torres, went on the intercom and said,
This is Echo. I have an indication. I think we have a bogey coming in. This time, they really screwed up and went active.
she detected an enemy ship's active sensors.
Cool. I think we have one of the stealth ships out there.
Amy Gemini Taylor, the BMO, came on and said,
I have nothing on the main scope yet. Whiskey, can you go onto passive scanners with me?
she was asking Banjo Edwards to come up and help her try to get an indication that they were out there. She received 2 clicks on the intercom from the always quiet Banjo. Jan said, Whiskey, I'll take us closer. He reached out and saw something that concerned him. He only stated to his crew, this may be a trap. We know they want to find out what ship has been giving them fits this past week. This may be a way to find out more about our capabilities. Gemini said,
I agree, AC. Any suggestions?
when we get to the near end of our pattern, let's see what our senses can do. If we can get it on your scopes, then we vector in the Saijon's fighters. With them causing a diversion, we use a hammerhead. I've been dying to see what they can do. Banjo got a wicked smile on his face and did his 2 clicks as Gemini and Stalker both indicated their agreement. Jan turned into the pattern and headed out to the leg closest to the enemy. The passive sensors were a highly sophisticated group of long-range sensors. They used magnetic anomaly tracking, motion tracking, and the EM suite to show a composite picture on the BMOS scope. While they were doing this, Jan went through the push drive checklist. 5 minutes later, Gemini said,
Tally ho! It's one of those black steel devils. I'm going to talk to Saijan.
She turned to another frequency, and the crew heard the following conversation.
Baystar, this is Steel. Go ahead, Steel. Baystar, I have a trade for you. We are sending data to you at this time.
This let the carrier know that they identified a target for them to engage. This also told them that the tasking data was on the way so they can plan the strike. The entire SDF has been briefed to handle Steel calls as authorization to plan and execute missions.
Roger, copy. We will send you our times. Battlestar out.
John came on intercom and said, okay, here's the plan. 1/2 hour after the group pushes, we go. We come out of push just within hammerhead range. That and the engagement should keep us from getting detected. Once we come out of push, we launch 2 hammerheads. Banjo uncharacteristically said,
Are you sure we need 2?
I want to make sure that if one fails, the other one takes out that bastard. I owe them. Besides, if they have spheres, they will take care of them in short order. He received 4 clicks of agreement. The deadly Hammerhead tactical missile was the latest addition to the Devil Ray's arsenal. It was Jan's inspiration while he was on Halsey. Somehow, his initial designs and doodles got to the weapons development facility on Edgewood. As a result, it was in the research and development phase at the same time as the Devil Ray because it was designed to be only used by the Ray. It was brought into operational use 2 weeks ago. The missile was shaped much like the shark it was named for. The front end of the missile had 2 square appendages on either end of the fuselage that had the targeting and navigation systems. The rear end had 4 perpendicular fins, which included the sensors, electronic combat systems, and the propulsion, a limited push and conventional drive system. The fuselage had 150 small hatches, which were loaded by small kinetic energy torpedoes called remoras. The remoras had small magnetic radars and plasma charges. Jan loved its lean and deadly looks. The Hammerhead was a large missile that was designed to give the Devil Ray a true fire and forget capability. The Wizzo would select the target to engage, and then he programmed the Hammerhead with the flight and engagement parameters. Once that was done, the missile would signal its readiness. When the AC authorized release, the Hammerhead would launch. The Devil Ray could fly with 2 in each weapon space for a total of 4. Once launched, the Hammerhead would fly to its target. Its maneuverability and equipped microblasters would allow it to get into range so it could launch the remoras. The remoras were optimized to handle the spheres, but were adaptable enough for any purpose. After launching them, the missile would orbit as the small torpedoes swarmed at the target, guided by the Hammerhead. When a remora reached its target, it used its guidance system. combination of a small radar and a highly sensitive magnet to attach to the target, where it would detonate the plasma charge on contact. In tests, it was found that the remoras had more explosive power than the Martian swarmers. After the remoras detonated, the hammerhead would be programmed to return to the Devil Ray to be recovered, or to guide to whatever target was available and detonate its push reactor. This explosion had the dual benefit of preventing any piece of the hammerhead from being recovered and destroying the enemy ship. Gemini thought for a second and said,
Let's do it.
A minute later, she said,
Carrier battle groups pushed. Begin push clock.
Jan continued to be impressed at her professionalism. He mused that it would be easy to think that this was Lorena, but he immediately pushed the thought out of his mind. Jan got on intercom. AC to crew. We will begin combat push checklist. Push in 30 minutes. Provide a single click response to my call. You receive 4 separate clicks. Rizzo, begin course plot and advise when it's ready for me to verify. 5 minutes later, he received a call from Banjo.
Course is ready to verify and load.
Jan looked at his screen. He saw the flight path that they would take, the point that they would emerge. Jan was careful to make sure they would not emerge in an asteroid. He used his instinct to verify this as well. He verified that it would take 10 minutes to get there. The preparations took him a minute to do so, and once he was finished, he pressed the appropriate switches to enter the course. When the system verified the entries a third time, the course entered lights showed on all panels. Jan said, Crew, we'll begin the final push checklist. After the checklist was completed, he said, push drive is engaged, course is set, we'll enter push in 5 minutes. With 1 minute to go, Jan said, turning push safety off. The intercom said, warning, the intercom said,
Warning, push safeties off. Push in 1 minute.
They could hear a slight hum as the drive engines started to spin up. After he received 4 green lights, he started a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He slid 4 sliding switches and the ship gently entered push. 10 minutes later, the Devil Ray emerged right beside an asteroid, just as it was supposed to. Jan held the ship in place so that the enemy would not have a chance to get a fix on it. He said on the intercom, push complete. Bravo. Give us a status report.
2 squadrons have engaged the enemy ship. There are some losses and some damage to the ship. It looks like the ship is fully occupied. Hold on. Holy shit! They launched swarmers.
Jan suppressed the urge to whoop and said, AC proposes to engage the enemy with 2 hammerheads. Jan started the protocol to launch the special weapons. Because of the capabilities of this missile, the standing procedure was for unanimous verbal consent prior to launching the missiles.
BMO concurs. EWO concurs.
Wizzo concurs.
AC records unanimous confirmation. Wizzo, start target acquisition and loading process. Banjo acquired the target and programmed the missiles to fly to either side of the enemy ship and bracket. Hammerhead 1 would engage the swarmers prior to attacking the ship. This process took only a minute after he acquired the target on his monitor. Jan's helmet-mounted sights stated that the missiles were ready to fire. He said, AC launching 2 hammerheads. When he received 4 clicks on the microphone, he pressed the arm button on the yoke and said, launch 2 hammerheads. The intercom came up with,
Warning, weapons armed. Warning, bay doors open. Warning, launch missile 1 away. Warning, launch missile 2 away. Bay doors closed.
the 2 shark-shaped missiles dropped from the weapons bay and used small reaction control thrusters to move away from the ship. Once they were at the proper distance, their main engines fired and the missiles sped away. Jan reached out with his instinct to visualize how the missiles were flying. He saw Banjo turn on his video to confirm the target picture. He saw the 2 sharks of the sky flying parallel to each other about 500 feet apart, their reaction control thrusters maintaining their course as they blazed to the dark apparition. He heard in his mind Gemini vectoring the fighters away from the enemy. He then saw the hammerheads fly toward the ships. He saw the lead missile head toward the swarmers, attracting their attention. Once they got into range, the missile launched the remoras, and two remoras headed to each swarmer and detonated, destroying the spheres immediately. After releasing the remoras, the lead hammerhead veered parallel to the large ship as the other one did the same on the starboard side. When the missiles reached the midship, the remoras from the second hammerhead launched. The little rockets detonated against already weakened shields of the ship. Many of them penetrated the hull and exploded, causing extensive damage, and enemy crew at times were blown out of the hull breaches. After the remoras finished their destruction, the 2 hammerheads drove into the push-drive nacelles and detonated, vaporizing the ship in a massive explosion. All that Jan could say as they witnessed the carnage was, "My God." Stalker whispered,
You would think we nuked them.
"Mission accomplished. Let's get back to the racetrack." Steel 1 entering downwind runway 09 Thunder Base, Jan said as he entered the traffic pattern as they were relieved by Lantern 01. The rest of the flight was spent in silence as they realized the power of the hammerheads. Jan remembered when the Martians used a nuke on the SDF base on Mars before, but knew that that was nothing compared to the fury of the hammerhead. End of Bridges.
Spaceballs. Spaceballs.
Well, that was good, guys.
Yeah, I emailed you something, Raymond.
Okay.
Eh.
All right. What'd you think, Jill?
Yeah, those were great chapters.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my mute button was a little fussy at the beginning there, but I think Agent Pepsi One would have really loved these chapters because Lorena sort of comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. The return of Lorena. Let's see. Snorts, clap, and pause. All right, let me see what you sent. That's cool.
Space Bears.
But yeah, it's also good to see the tables turn.
Yeah, they've been losing a lot. This is for you, Snort, courtesy of Max Redstone. Yeah. There you go. Snort a poop ass, Q-Bar.
Space polar bear.
Space
Space
polar bear,
bear.
yes.
Space bears.
Space bears. Is the other one the same?
Yeah, it's just a PDF.
Okay. Snorter Pooper says, Aging Pepsi 1 will be disappointed she didn't get to read the club. Yeah. AP, sorry about that, Agent Pepsi 1.
Yeah, me too. I'm sorry she didn't get to read today.
Yeah. And Pop Culture
Oh
Break.
well.
Yeah.
Hopefully she'll feel better soon.
Yeah, I
Yes.
hope so.
Yeah, it's been awful for her. First she had allergies, now she's sick.
Yeah.
Life won't give her a break.
No. Either that or the germ reactors are in full effect.
Yeah. I would be able to do it too if it wasn't for you damn kids.
Yeah, she does work in a petri dish.
Yeah. Pop Culture Breakdown is live right now, and there's the stream. Yeah. Still didn't get the notification. Okay. Let's see. Anything concerned? FKHG says, swear more, Jill. We love it.
I will swear when it is in the script.
Yeah.
That can be arranged.
I am all the lady characters today. I hope Agent Pepsi 1 feels better soon. She would have loved these chapters. Yes. Mac Redstone. And hello, DVB. And I saw Pierre Kelly out there. Well, I think at this point we will go to show notes.
Oh no. It's time for show notes.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. Yeah, with Mr. Raven and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. We're bringing it on. It's time for show notes. You've all been warned. It's time for show notes.
It's Mr. Raymond time. It's Mr. Raymond time.
All right. Program. Okay, there will not be a just because this Saturday, as Sandra and I are on a away mission, but on Sunday, we will have our Sunday show at 4 p.m. And because of Yom Kippur coming on Wednesday, we will not have a Wednesday show, so we will go right to Just Cause on the 4th. Okay, other stuff in October, we will do on the 8th, we will continue our Fantastic Four reviews. On the 18th will be our 4-year anniversary. Yay! 4 years here on King Dolphin TV.
Yay.
Yay! And let's see, another big one. The 22nd, we will go to the next part of All's Fair, Wishes. Or if wishes.
Sorry, I was away. I couldn't. Yay! Hooray!
Yes. On the 22nd will be the part If Wishes Were Fishes. On the 22nd. On the 29th, somebody's having a certain dolphin will be celebrating his birthday that evening. Yay!
Woohoo!
And
Happy
on November,
birthday, almost.
yeah. On October 8th, we will the themed episode, or on November the 8th, the themed episode will be world travel. So that is everything And November 19th, November 19th will be Endgame. I'm gonna ask you and Jill, you and Max, to see if we could combine both parts of Endgame because it's a long part, or just keep it broken down into two. If you guys could think about it, take a look at the scripts and see if it's
Okay.
good to break in two.
Got it.
Okay.
Because I know Jill, you can't do the 10th.
Yeah, that's my birthday.
Yeah, that's
I'm sure I'm gonna.
Jill's birthday.
And
Yay!
it's not just any birthday. It's gonna be my 40th, so I know I'm gonna be busy.
All right.
So
Yeah. So yeah, we'll change that. We'll make the change if we even need to. So we'll take a look at that. All right, that is show notes. I hope everybody loved the reading. I know I certainly did.
I hope Mr. Raymond thought enough of it to let me out of captivity later.
Yes, you are free. You are free. Freedom.
All right.
Freedom.
Hooray.
All right. So
Good
that is
news.
show notes. And let us say thank you for being here. We had DVB. Thank you for being here. We had Pierre Kelly. Thank you, sir, for being here. And we had the ever-changing Matt G., also known as Sabrina's Espresso. And
Gee.
Matt G. We had our producer, Sandra. We had a quiet Trike the dog today.
I heard him grumbling just a little bit. He was so good.
Yeah, he was actually quite good tonight. We had Agent Pepsi One. Please put an AP one out there. Hoping that sending the healing thoughts. We had FKHC 2005. We had Legatus Legionii. And of course we had Big Bad Bear, smarter than the average bear. The hardest working bear on the internet. Okay. Slaughter Poopas! Cuba.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Peppy Le Pew. Peppy Le Pew. Tim says, it was great. Need more Jill swearing.
Yeah, I had 2 tonight.
Yeah. And my mother-in-law's Sandra's mom's 90th birthday is Saturday.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wow.
So put an MS out there to show we think about her and congratulate her. Also, put a WTW out there to show that we're thinking about Wendy Trauma Warrior on the loss of her beloved Ramsey. And, of course, Bez, who's also not feeling good. Put an F
Feel better.
Yes, please feel better. All right. Okay, I think that's everybody. So, I love the expression that you put on him. He looks like an angry old bear.
Yep.
Max, he looks very angry. So, well, Max and Jill, thank you very much. You guys helped make these readings amazing.
You're
And
welcome.
I'll be putting this reading, and I think I have to put the previous one on the Radio King Dolphin TV playlist, can find it on the playlists on my channel. So,
Outstanding.
yep. And Jill, thank you also for being here and doing an amazing job as you always do.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could be here.
Yep. And Agent Pepsi one day we'll get you back on the players.
Yes, Agent Pepsi, when you were supposed to be doing some swearing tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, you be good, be safe, and we will see you on Sunday. Love you guys.
Later.
Bye bye.